USB.
Hi, Sean. I talked to you yesterday.
Good. You are fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes. A great host. Show is radio. Listen to his show.
Absolutely, 95.5.
One mic. All I need is one mic. That's all I need.
Hey, Shelley Winter Show live, local, topical, and relevant. My friends, another great show lined up for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get to the breaking news. Student loan debt will be forgiven for millions of borrowers, excuse me. And that's coming up at 8:06. I've got the Protect Borrowers. They are the lawyers that handle the case. They represented the United Teachers Federation, and in this lawsuit that has been just cleared, and they're now waiting for it to wind its way through the courts. But the first phase is over, so they're going to join us at 8:06 to talk about this story. But I want to start here, my friends. I really need to start here. So I did not know this, right? So for those of you who don't know, and you need to know, there's a PSC race in November, statewide race, Public Service Commission. Public Service Commission regulates Georgia Power Company and other utilities, determining how much companies are allowed to bill millions of ratepayers. That's the short answer. The commissioners serve staggered 6-year terms, but elections for 2 members have been delayed by the voting rights lawsuit. So both commissioners, Tim Echols and Fitz Johnson, they're the incumbents. They happen to be Republicans. They're on the ballot. And turnout is extremely low. And Republican turnout is lower than Democrat turnout based on what we can see, based on where the votes are coming from, based on the voters who pulled a primary ballot and what they pulled a primary ballot for, what party, Democrat or Republicans. We're behind. Republicans are behind. So I'm urging every single one of you who have not cast a ballot just yet, if for Republicans, I need you to go out in the next couple days. Election day is in literally 10 days, I think, 11 days or so. Oh, 2 weeks from today. It's Tuesday. Right. Election day is not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after. So it's 2 weeks from today. And so I need you to go out and vote for Fitz Johnson and Tim Echols. But what I found out, and I did not know this, and I apologize for not talking about this earlier. I found out there was a law. The reason why these races were supposed to be a couple years ago, but they've been tied up in the courts. Richard Rose, who was with the NAACP, Briante McCorkle, Wanda Mosley, and a good friend of mine, James Major Woodall, all sued Brad Raffensperger. And the reason why they sued Brad Raffensperger, they filed it in 2020. The reason why they sued Brad Raffensperger is because they said because the PSC elections were statewide, an African American could not be elected. Therefore, African Americans were being, their votes were being diluted. A crazy thought, right? Because these same people will back an African-American running for governor. But these same people sued by saying, essentially arguing that African-Americans can't win statewide in the state of Georgia and that they need to change the way we elect PSC commissioners. This is what their argument was. And it was all surrounding the race of the winner and the voters, right? And so they filed their lawsuit. An opening became available on a Public Service Commission, and the Governor Kemp, appointed Fitz Johnson. Guess what, my friends? Fitz Johnson's African-American. Problem solved. You have an African-American there. What is the lawsuit about? Well, you got to keep the lawsuit going because he's not the right African-American. Essentially what you're saying, he's not one our kind of African-American. He's not a Democrat, to be certain. See, so it really has nothing to do with race. The argument is race, but the end result has to be increased power for the Democrat Party, using a famous civil rights organization like the NAACP. But the NAACP didn't file a lawsuit. It was individuals within the NAACP, whom I know and I love and I respect. I get it. But don't tell me it's about African-American voters not being represented when there's an African-American on a PSC commission right now, appointed by Brian Kemp. His name is Fitz Johnson. But here's the craziest part of what I'm telling you, my friends. This is the craziest part. After winding its way through the courts, let me read to you the nature from the court filing. Let me just read to you so you get a gist of it. You get an understanding. The court has original jurisdiction, venue. Okay, hold on, not that. I want to read. Georgia Public Service Commission consists of five members elected at large by all Georgia voters in partisan elections to serve staggered 6-year terms. We already know that. Although elected at large, members of the public are required to reside in one of 5 Public Service Commission districts. So my good friend Daniel, what's Daniel? I forgot Daniel's last name, but he wanted to run for PSC, right? But they bumped him out because he didn't live in a district. It wasn't Republicans who did that, by the way. It was the Democrats, the same side of the plaintiffs in the case United States versus, these plaintiffs, Rose, McCorkle, Mosley, and Woodall versus Brad Raffensperger. Right? Not them specifically, but their side got rid of Daniel because they didn't want Daniel. African Americans in Georgia are sufficiently numerous and geographically compact to constitute a majority of the voting age population in at least one single-member district in an illustrative 5-district plan. For example, right? So what they're saying is African American voters in Georgia are politically cohesive in elections from members of the Public Service Commission. So they're saying we need an African American, but they can't win statewide. So we need you to break this up and not have it be a statewide, and you just have the people run from their districts run from their districts. You have the districts split up, and each person run in their district to make up the commission, as opposed to living in a district, but you're running statewide. So let me explain that again. I live in Mableton, right? Magic Mike lives on the east side. But on our ballots, we will both have the public service commissioners because they're running statewide. So this whole lawsuit was about getting African-American representation on the commission. And so Brian Kemp, the governor, solved that problem by appointing, guess what? An African-American in Fitz Johnson. But check this out. Check out where these folks are now. Right now, Fitz Johnson is running against Peter Hubbard. Guess what? Peter Hubbard is a white dude. So this whole entire lawsuit that's dragged on that allowed the Democrats to wait till now to run a race between Peter Hubbard, Fitz Johnson, Alicia Johnson, and Tim Echols, this whole thing has been boiled and it was started because you didn't have African-American representation, and all you did was force the black guy who's there to run against a white guy. And this is the fallacy of all of these lawsuits. It's the fallacy of the Voting Rights Act with the Supreme Court. It's the fallacy of this lawsuit. It's the fallacy of using race to point out some kind of unfairness when all you're really trying to do is win power for the Democrat Party. But you're using historical black organizations like the NAACP to do it. And it's disgusting. It's sick. If your goal, NAACP, plaintiffs in this lawsuit, if your goal was to have African-American representation, you have it in Fitz Johnson. But now you're going to put up a white guy. Oh, by the way, you had a black woman, Keisha Waits, running in a primary, but the white guy won. So now all the African-American Democrats have to line up behind a white guy to get black representation on a PSC commission. I know. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, take the lawsuit out of it. Take the NAACP out of it. Take party affiliation out of it. If you're listening to me right now and you're African American and you care so much about representation, then you need to vote for Fitz Johnson. If you care so much about representation, if you care so much about, the people who represent me on the Public Service Commission need to look like me, then vote for Fitz Johnson. Vote for Fitz Johnson. He's there. He's the incumbent. But if you care only about giving representation and power to the Democrat Party, then go vote for Peter Hubbard, the white guy. that the NAACP basically sued the state of Georgia for so a white guy can win a chair on a public service commission under the guise of African Americans losing or needing representation. 404-872-0750. 1-800-WSB Talk. It's the Shelley Winter Show.